Hello everybody, welcome to AstroEdify. Today we are going to talk about Saturn in 5th house, what kind of results it can bring if it is placed in 5th in anybody's chart. And this is an important situation for Saturn because here Saturn can enhance the level of intelligence, or it helps in education of the person, the relationships, the marriage part, the childbirth, the attaining respect and name in society. So all these things become important in 5th house. But at the same time, if Saturn is not well placed, let's suppose in 5th, then it can enhance the part where it induces concentration problems, attention span issues, troubles in education, relationship issues. So that we are going to talk that how and in what situations Saturn can show these kind of results, good and negative both, that we are going to discuss. And if you are experiencing any kind of problems, the negative parts of Saturn in place while being in 5th, then what are the remedial measures for that we are also going to talk. So let's start this video. If you want to book a consultation for yourself, you can go on this website. The link is shown in description. So we are going to talk about Saturn in 5th house. First situation which I'm going to take here is strong and well placed Saturn in 5th. By this I mean that Saturn is in own sign, exaltation sign, friendly sign, zodiac sign in which it is sitting. The lord of that sign is well placed in the chart, and it is making association or yogas with the Kendra lords or Trikona lords or 2nd or 11th lords while being in the 5th house. Then Lagna Lord, Sun and Moon at the same time should be well placed in the chart, because Lagna Lord, Sun and Moon, they govern the inherent fundamental strength of the chart. If they are not well placed or weak, then no matter how good your other planets are, you won't find expected results even though you are running their time periods or dashas. So that becomes significantly important at the same time. So if they are well placed and Saturn is in 5th, the more good yogas it makes, it will have tremendous capacity to give excellent results in life. So first of all, see, Saturn in 5th house, see, Saturn is a delayer. Saturn creates some kind of hurdles because it forces you to work hard. It tests your patience, it tests your commitment and seriousness towards a certain thing in life, what you want. So 5th house is a good house. So Saturn ultimately has the capacity to give you good end result, fulfillment of the desires or goals what you are trying to achieve. But it makes you work hard because 5th house is third from the third. So, and Saturn is efforts. So 3rd house is efforts. 3rd house and Saturn both represents efforts. So it shows that you will have to work hard, put efforts, and you have to be serious. You have to be patient and committed in order to see good results ultimately in your life. So what is the 5th house here? So first of all, 5th house is intelligence. So Saturn in 5th house, if it is well placed, you have to see Mercury and Jupiter at the same time, but it enhances the level of intelligence, learning, memory and cognition. But you have to understand that it can give some delays and troubles in the form of formal education sometimes, not all the time. But Saturn shows that the levels of intelligence will be good, levels of learning will be good. Person can be street smart and learn through life experiences a lot. Keeping in mind whether you have a formal degree or education, that is a separate thing. But how much capable you are, how much knowledge you have, how much experience you have, that Saturn provides more in 5th. So in 5th house, this can be a very profound result of Saturn in 5th. But if Saturn is well placed, it won't trouble your education in a way that it shows that you won't be able to complete your education, or you will be failing in your subjects, or your academic performance will be very bad, or you don't want to study at all. Those things won't be there, because if Saturn is well placed in 5th, it will give logic, reason, intelligence, learning capability, good memory. Although person might have some trouble in adhering to the normal societal methods of learning, like in formal schools or colleges for education. Next thing here is that Saturn in 5th house makes person more conceptual and logical rather than only adhering to the memorizing of things. And at the same time, it also, as I said, it is self-efforts. So it forces the person to put self-efforts, and you might not get support of teachers. Even if, let's suppose, you have teachers, but you might not get support, or you might feel that it's better to focus on my own rather than looking for somebody's help all the time for learning something. Then it enhances the level of logic, reason, analysis, practicality in person, and it helps the person to see the big picture, connecting the dots and see the big picture in general. It gives you a very deep insight and a practical understanding of things. Also, it makes person very innovative in thinking process, because fifth house is creativity. So Saturn is research and depth and seeing the things as they are. So it helps in that front as well, a unique perspective to see the things in short. Then it also makes person mature early in life, and at the same time it enhances your observation skills, make person more keen and observant and detail oriented, somewhat introvert, gives foresight, and it gives you less friends. Fifth house is friends also, so Saturn is isolation, less number of friends. You can have professional acquaintances, that is separate, but people who are very close to you, with whom you share, they are going to be extremely less in life. Then another thing is that education, fifth house is education. Saturn in fifth house is excellent for STEM fields, science, technology, engineering and mathematics, all kinds of scientific areas, and engineering areas, any kind, depending on combination, Saturn helps there. It is also favorable for law, history, geography, geology, archaeology, management, politics and sports at the same time. Then fifth house is relationship, and from fifth house Saturn looks at seventh house. Seventh house is the house of marriage, your partner. So Saturn, if it is, you have to see combinations for marriage separately, because we are just discussing one placement. How you have to see the marriage, I've already made detailed videos upon that. You can watch it in the playlist of the channel. But what I'm mentioning here is that if other combinations for marriage and relationship are good, then Saturn shows that there can be certain testing times, because that is the nature of Saturn. It tests you, it tests your seriousness, it tests your duty, responsibility and commitment in the marriage or relationship, but it prolongs it. It helps in sustainable, meaningful, deep, healthy relationships at the end. So that also helps. But you have to understand that there will be certain delays, certain challenges. You have to see other yogas. In general, if we are talking about other combinations are fine for marriage, and Saturn is well placed in fifth, it will be good for relationship and marriage in the long run. Then for children, it definitely delays the birth of children. So maybe the person does not want children initially, and when they want or they settle down in life, it takes a lot of time to do that. So Saturn in the fifth house, and if it is with Rahu Ketu, this will enhance furthermore. So Saturn in fifth house delays children, and it can create certain issues in relationship with them at the same time, or troubles to the children. That depends how the horoscope is. But see, if Saturn is well placed and fifth lord or Jupiter are fine, then the relationship with the children will be good. Although Saturn can show that they might be living away later on in life, that can be seen. Another thing is that it is good for finances. It gives you finances and investments, because fifth house is investments, and from fifth house Saturn looks at 11th house of gains and second house of money, finances. So Saturn and other second and 11th lords are fine. Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, they are the controllers of money. They are good. Then it shows that Saturn brings money and let it stay. So money will come through labor, through hard work and through genuine righteous means. But at the same time, Saturn shows that whatever comes, it stays. And it is good for long-term investments, real estate investments, excellent. Not short duration investment, because Saturn is a slow planet, but it shows that it is ultimately beneficial for finances, money and good growth with respect to finances and investments in life. Then at the same time, you have to see other yogas like Jupiter, Lagna Lord, Moon and Sun and ninth house. But since fifth house is ninth from ninth, then if Saturn is, because Saturn is the follower of the dharma, follower of the law, so you need to see Jupiter here. But if Saturn is well placed and Jupiter is fine, ninth house is fine, it gives you the dharma. Dharma means not religion. Dharma means ethics, morals, principles, virtues, duty, commitment, responsible approach. Person has a moral code of conduct, that and dignity. That kind of attitude can be given by Saturn in fifth house. you follow the path of the right, person can be a just moralistic person. So that can be seen if Saturn is well placed in fifth and at the same time ninth house, because ninth house is the main house of dharma. So that must be strong. Jupiter must be strong. Now we will discuss Saturn is in fifth, but it is, let's suppose, afflicted or weak or not well placed. What do I mean by this? That Saturn is, let's suppose, in an enemy sign, debilitation sign, and it is not undergoing cancellation of debilitation, means Nij Bhanga is not happening. Then Saturn is with malefics like 6th, 8th or 12th lords, Mars, Sun, Rahu, Ketu, and they are hemming Saturn, making strong Papkartri yogas. Saturn is retrograde, totally combust in Mrityu Bhaga. In Navamsha it is not well placed. The zodiac sign in which it is sitting, the lord of that sign is not well placed in the chart. And at the same time, if Sun, Moon and Lagna Lord, they are also weak and badly placed, the more Saturn will have capability to create problems in life. So I'm going to discuss all kind of possibilities. You don't have to jump to conclusions. So you have to see the chart first in the entirety, keeping in mind how other planets are and what kind of combinations are happening. Till then, just take it as a source of information and see that, okay, just one planet in a single house, how it can function. Good and bad, wide spectrum that we are discussing. So first, if Saturn is not well placed in fifth, what was fifth house? Fifth house is your education, learning, memory, attention, intelligence. So Saturn will hamper that. And if Mercury is also weak, it will enhance it furthermore, Mercury and Moon. So no concentration, no attention, language or learning disorders can be seen. Because from fifth house, Saturn looks at second house of speech. So delayed speech, trouble in speaking, language issues, learning problems, very bad for education and learning and memory. So that can be seen. Then it can enhance the level of fear, anxiety, low self-esteem. Person constantly compares themselves with other people, bad speech, bad company and habits, indiscipline, lethargy, irresponsibility, excessive procrastination, blames and excuses for your own mistakes. These kind of things can be prevailing in the nature. So if Saturn is not good, then it is extremely negative for relationships now and marriage at the same time. So either the relationships are not there at all, or even if they happen somehow, they don't sustain at all. And same thing goes for marriage. Delay in marriage or troubles in marriage of any kind, depending on the other combinations, it can show any kind of problems in marriage and relationships whatsoever. Then it ultimately, Saturn is isolation, because Saturn is not a social planet. It shows that you have to remain on your own. So Saturn ultimately, if it is not well placed, it shows that the relationship and marriage ultimately, either they don't survive, you end up alone, or even if they are surviving, the relationship and or the marriage will slowly become so cold, boring, dull, monotonous, unhappy, that a person, even if it's like living with some stranger under one roof, that kind of thing can be seen. So total isolation, no friends, nobody, complete isolation can be seen. And other family members also, because Saturn looks at second house. Second house is your family, seventh house is marriage, fifth house is friends. So 11th house is social circle. So social circle, even if it is there, it can show that, okay, it is all opportunistic, plain business approach. There is no intimacy, no attachment, no that kind of thing. So that can be seen. Then it is negative for children. So either Saturn shows that the childbirth is not happening easily, infertility is going on, some problems are happening, that conceiving is not there, or childbirth issues of any kind can be seen. Severe delay, child loss, abortions, miscarriages, or loss of child at later age can be seen, or depending on yogas. Then it can also give bad relationship with them. So relationship with children is very bad. That can also be given. We have to see the Saptamsha chart also for this. Then 7th house and 11th house and second house, they are important houses for business activities and money. So Saturn, if it is bad and these houses are also not good, then what it shows, that it is negative for your business, partnerships, finances. It can give loans, debts, court cases, litigation, failures, any kind of problems in finances and business can be seen. Then depending on, again, the 9th house, it can now enhance the adharma. So this is bad Saturn. So if ninth house is not good, ninth lord is not good, Jupiter is not favorable, sun, moon and ascendant lord are in similar situations, a heavy influence of Rahu is there. So what will happen? Adharma will prevail. So what do I mean by adharma? Adharma means immorality, unethical approach, corrupt and immoral code of conduct, no sense of right and wrong. Person seeks shortcuts, don't care about law or the righteous means. That kind of thing can be seen. Excessive greed and selfishness. You only think about yourself. Excessive opportunistic, cunning attitude that can be given. Lies and manipulation, because from fifth house it looks at second house is speech. So now the speech, either it is troubling, or the speech is negative, where person can be lying a lot or manipulating a lot, or abusive, harsh, bad speech is going on. That can be seen. So this kind of negative results, they are also possible if Saturn is in fifth, depending on the chart. So if any of you are experiencing then these negative issues in your life, I've made 2 videos on weak Saturn, its results, as well as its practical and astrological remedies. They are discussed in detail in 2 videos. Their links are shown in card section above. They are given in description below. Watch them and follow the remedies, practical and astrological both. The more you will follow, the more you will see significant improvement in the challenges, if any of the challenges which we discussed Saturn is throwing in your life. So that is all from my end today regarding Saturn in fifth house, and we have seen the wide spectrum of one planet in fifth, what kind of results it can bring. So if you are new to my channel, subscribe below for more reels and posts. You can associate and join my Instagram, website and Facebook pages. Their links are given in description. Else we'll meet with you in the next video. Till then, goodbye and thank you.